Ellargu namaskara. Dear students, today let us continue with the responsibility. In this, professional responsibility, virtues fulfilled under the professional responsibility, social responsibility, accountability, difference between corporate responsibility and corporate accountability we are learning. Okay, first let us learn what is responsible professionalism, that is professional responsibility. The most comprehensive virtue of engineers is responsible professionalism. It is also known as professional responsibility. So being a professionals, being a engineers, we must know what is our responsibility. That is called as a professional responsibility. Let us define this. Legal and moral duty of a professional to apply his or her knowledge in ways that benefit his or her client and the wider society without causing any injury to either. So what this means, so being engineers, so what we know, what is the knowledge we are having, we must apply this to where to benefit our knowledge to our client and also to the wider society. ಸೊಸೈಟಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗಲಾರ್ದ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಥವಾ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ. Now let us study what are the different virtues fulfilled under professional responsibility. So in the examination it is asked like this. List the types of virtues with an example for each. Okay. See here, we have already studied what is virtue and the general meaning of a virtue and some examples on virtue we have studied in the first chapter. Here the detailed classification of virtue is given under the professional responsibility. How it is classified, see here. So it has got total 5 types. First one is self-direction virtue. Second is public spirited virtue. Teamwork virtues. Third one. Fourth one, proficiency virtues. Fifth one, cardinal virtues. So let us take one by one. First one, self-direction virtues. Virtue means what? Sadguna. ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಗುಣಕ್ಕೆ we call it, which are preferable values, which are good and preferable values, those are called as a virtues. Okay, so in self-direction virtue, so what are the examples for that? See here, honesty is a self-direction virtue. It includes self-understanding, proper assessment of one's character and good moral judgment. So main idralli one value, important value related to this virtue is what? Honesty. Self-direction virtue dolage honesty is a must, and depending on the commitment and action it needs courage. So bari honesty ashte idre it is not sufficient. What also it requires in the self-direction virtue, it needs courage. Self-discipline. Self-discipline ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ರಿ, ನಾವೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಾವೇ ಡಿಸಿಪ್ಲಿನ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಅಪ್ ಅರ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್. ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಫಾಲೋ ದ good habits, so that should become a practice for us. So regularly we need to study, regularly we need to take that is food at the right time, and balanced diet we should have, and for our physical fitness also we should give certain time for that. So this is called as a discipline maintenance for our own sake, that is called as self discipline. Okay, so this gives a self direction virtue also. Perseverance. Perseverance means what? Continuous effort. So we have to put a continuous effort for whatever the work we are doing. So whatever the work you are involved, so for that you should put the continuous effort until you get the result. So this is called as a perseverance. And self-respect. So ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ನಮಗೆ respect ಇರಬೇಕು. And also integrity. Integrity ಅಂದ್ರೆ you already have studied what is integrity. It is what? Unity of thought, speech and deed. So ನಾವು ಏನು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನುಡಿಯೋದು, ಮಾತಾಡೋದು, ಮಾತನಾಡಿದ ಹಾಗೆ ನಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಸೇಮ್. ಸೊ ಅವಾಗಷ್ಟೇ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಜನರು ನಂಬ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಶೋಸ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ವರ್ದಿ. ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ವರ್ದಿ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ನಂಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಜನರು. ಸೊ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರಿಟಿ quality. So these all are the examples for self-direction virtues. Okay. In the next second type, that is public spirited virtues. So this is related to what? Public. You can see here, these virtues focus on good of the clients and the public. So public ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ನಾವು ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, so what all the good values, what the virtues we should have, so that is given here. So these includes respects for rights. So first we should understand what are our rights, human rights, and we should respect it, and not harming intentionally others. So ಬೇರೆದವರಿಗೆ intentionally harm ಮಾಡಬಾರದು. Engineering codes go a step ahead by removing harm to others and also promoting public safety. This is very important. Public safety, health is very important whenever you are doing a project. So you should see that from that project the public should not be affected. The safety and health of the public should not be affected from your project work in the engineering field. Okay. And also the welfare of the society is also taken care. Generously, that is helping the community in all respect. Andre generously andre ಉದಾರಿಗಳಾಗಿರುವುದು, ಅನುಕಂಪ ತೋರಿಸುವುದು, help ಮಾಡುವುದು. So that is called as a generosity. So and justice in all decisions and actions. So whatever you do, you should give the judgment for that. So these all values related to public spirited virtues. Okay. So next comes third one. Third one is teamwork virtue. Teamwork virtue means what? While you are working in a team, so what all the values, what all the virtues you should have, because in company they expect you people to work in a team. So to work in a team you should require certain qualities. So those are taken here as a teamwork virtues. So these includes collegiality. Collegiality means what? Here the power is shared among the different members. Okay. So in your team, if there are 10 members, so everyone should be given a power. Different work should be assigned to different individuals, so that everyone gets the power to work on that. So that is taken as a sharing of the responsibility. Okay. Then cooperativeness, that is a very important principle of a teamwork. Next, communicative ability. So you need to communicate in the teamwork because you have to share your ideas, opinion. So you should express, and also you should be able to convince others what you are telling you are right. Okay. So this comes by the communicative ability. Okay. You should be very good at the communication. That is called as a communication skill. And respect for legitimate authority. So legitimate means legal. So you should always give the legal opinion and also respect the legal. So ನ್ಯಾಯಯುತವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತತಿ, and also we should behave in a justified manner. That is taken as a legitimate authority. Next, these virtues enable the professionals to work successfully with others. So ಈ virtues ಎಲ್ಲಿ help ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ ಅಂದ್ರೆ when you are working in a team, so these all values will help us to work smoothly in the team. Okay. Next, fourth one is proficiency virtues. So proficiency means what? Proficiency means expert. So expert knowledge. So what actually you are learning in engineering. So that getting the full knowledge of that field, that we call it as a proficient knowledge. So what are the virtues related to this? You can see here the proficiency virtue means mastery of technical skills. So you are a technical person means you should have a master in the technical field. It includes competence, that is having qualified, licensed and prepared to execute the job. So ನಿಮ್ ಕಡೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಇರಬೇಕು, ನಿಮ್ ಕಡೆ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ ಇರಬೇಕು, and also prepare to execute the job. So you should have certain training so that you can do the job without any problems. So that is prepare to execute the job. So this is taken as a competence. Okay. Diligence. So diligence means what? Alert to dangers, careful attention and avoidance of laziness. So ನೀವು represent ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತತಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ನೀವು represent ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತತಿ. So that is by how? By having the alert to the dangers, and you should be very much attentive and also avoid laziness. So ಮೈಗಳ್ರಾಗದೆ active ಆಗಿ alert ಆಗಿ, so you should face the Also you should be having the alertness to the danger also. So the working like this is taken as a diligence. Next, creativity. So whenever you are working in the engineering field, so you should give the new approach for that project. So that giving the new approach, new solution is taken as a creativity. Excellence and self-renewal through continuing education. So once if you finish the degree, then that knowledge is not at all sufficient for you. So whenever you will be working in the field, so you should be upgraded with the new technology, because the technology will be changing every month or every day. The new technology will be coming, so you must be able to have self renewal through the continuing education. So education, that is a lifelong process it is. Okay. Next, cardinal virtues. So cardinal virtues in this, it includes wisdom, courage, temperance andre talme, patience, and justice are some of the cardinal virtues, because they govern our actions. So you bhal important ರೀ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದಾಗ you should have the wisdom, knowledge ಇರಬೇಕು, plus courage ಇರಬೇಕು, ಅದರ ಜೊತೆ temperance, patience ಇರಬೇಕು. Nowadays you can see that because of less patience, then you will be in a conflict, so there will be quarrels. So everyone should have a great patience, so that they can give a good ideas and they can easily come to a good solution from that. Otherwise they will be in a conflict, and this is very important in the engineering field. You should have all these virtues being in a profession. Okay, so I think these all virtues are clear for you, and it is already learnt in the first chapter, but here it is a big classification is given and it is asked in the examination also. You just go through this. Okay, next we are learning social responsibility. So we have studied what is responsibility and also what is professional responsibility. Then we are learning social responsibility here. So socially, how the engineers should behave. So social service ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾದಾಗ society ಒಳಗೆ ಅವರು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ responsibility ತಗೋಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿ we are learning in this topic. Okay, so corporate organizations have social responsibility to all of their stakeholders, such as welfare of employees and their unions, investors, customers, suppliers, dealers, local communities, governments, non-governmental organizations, business owners and managers. So here first you should know what is stakeholder. So stakeholder andre, so ನೀವು ಏನು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರಿ only shareholders ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರಿ. So that is wrong. So shareholders are investors, but stakeholders is what? It is a combination of what? All employees first who are working in the company. Next, unions, ಅವ್ರದೇ ಒಂದು ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತು ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಶೇರ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅದರೊಳಗೆ. ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಸ್, B, consumers as well as customers. Suppliers, who are supplying the parts or some materials to the company. Dealers ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, mediators ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ. Local communities, so ಅವ್ರ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತಲು ಒಂದು ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ವಿಲೇಜ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಇತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿನೇ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. Government, also having the action on the company, and non-governmental organizations, so some other companies, business owners and managers. So these all includingly we call it as a stakeholders. So social responsibility here what actually tells, it has a social responsibility to all of their stakeholders, such as welfare of employees. So company ಒಳಗೆ ಬರೀ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ವೆಲ್ಫೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ the organization, ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it is a organization ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರು ಬರೀ ತಮ್ಮ ಕಂಪನಿದ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ವೆಲ್ಫೇರ್ ನೋಡೋದು ಅಲ್ಲದೆ, ಸೊ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ವೆಲ್ಫೇರ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟ್ others means customers, investors, suppliers, dealers, local communities, government. So all these here it is taken as a stakeholders. Okay, so this is called as a social responsibility. So here, besides showing concern with employee relations and other internal organizational matters, the organization is also concerned with, so ಇದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ, ಬರೀ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನೋಡೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ organization matter ಅಷ್ಟೇ focus ಮಾಡೋದಲ್ಲದೆ, so what the organization should have, what the company should do, so it should do some other functions. What is that? So that is called as a social responsibility here. So here it should include how the product or project is marketed, used or misused, how it fails, and how it is disposed or discarded. So once the product is manufactured, how it is marketed, and customers, whether it is used or misused, and whether if it fails, and how it is disposed. So ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದನ್ನು ಅದು ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Industry people should have the awareness of it, because so they are having the direct contact with the customers and their society, and that should not harm the society. So that is the responsibility of a company, social responsibility. Next, protecting the work environment during manufacture as well as external environment during transport or use. So this is very important. So what is the industrial products? So that should not harm the environment mainly. So they should protect the environment. Manufacturing ಆಗಬೇಕಾದಾಗನು ಅದು ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ during transportation. So during that time also it should protect the environment. So this should be also considered, because the you see that the environment is getting polluted by the industrial waste release, and because of some mishappenings in the industries, so we are getting the pollution in the environment. So that should be protected by whom? By the engineers in that industry. So they are having that responsibility. So this comes under the social responsibility. Next, protecting the work environment during manufacture. So this is over. Next, training the physically challenged workers. So in this you can see that in the industry there may be some physically challenged workers, so who may be disabled. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಕಾಲು ಇರದೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಕೈ ಇರದೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಂಥವ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ತಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಡೋದು. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದಟ್ ದೇ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಬಯಾಸ್ಡ್, ಸೊ ದೇ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಗಿವನ್ ಸಮ್ ವರ್ಕ್ so that they can also live their life easily. Okay. Next, subcontracting and hiring practices. So ಈಗ ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿರಬಹುದು, ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಕಂಪನಿಯವರು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ತಗೋತಾರ ಅಥವಾ ಹೈರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಿ. ಸೊ ಜಾಬ್ ಕೊಡೋದು, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಎ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಪಾರ್ಚುನಿಟೀಸ್. ಸೊ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಜಾಬ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಬೈ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ ಆನ್ ಅ ಹೈರಿಂಗ್, so they can give the more and more opportunities for the society people. Okay. Next, contribution to local communities to improve their social, cultural and civil life. So here, so they have to give certain contribution, like by giving certain donations or by giving some activities socially, that is you might have heard. So from Infosys Foundation, so many toilets are built from the Infosys Foundation, from Sudha Murthy and Narayan. You might have heard this. So cleaning the sewages. So like this, some civil engineers can do this. So such things, they will help the society in a social way, and also in the cultural way also they can help. So besides doing only the welfare of employees in the organization, so they should also serve the society in this manner. So this type of responsibility is called as a social responsibility. So examples are, you already know about this, that is Infosys Foundation by Narayan Murthy and Sudha Murthy. Like this, some other companies are also having this social responsibility. They are donating and they are giving the service to the society in another ways. So like Wipro, Tata Group, so these are also other companies examples you can have. See that the company is also having the social responsibility to serve the society in a good way. Okay, next comes, what is accountability? Accountability, it is related to responsibility only, but it has got certain meaning. Accountability means what? The capacity to understand and act on moral reasons. So first we should understand, we should be able to know what is the moral reasoning. Moral reasoning is what? Thinking. So whether it is right or wrong. So that thinking on different issues is called as a moral reasoning. Next, own the responsibility for the good or wrong outcomes. ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ, so whenever you are assigned, suppose if the outcome result is good or bad, whatever it is, you should have that responsibility on your own, that owning the responsibility. So ಏನೇ ಅದರ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಇದ್ರು ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಭುಜದ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಾಕೋತೀವಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ಶೋಲ್ಡರ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಾಕೋತೀವಲ್ಲ, that is called as a accountability here. Okay. Next, courage to accept the mistakes will ensure success in the efforts in future. So ಏನೋ ತಪ್ಪು ನಡೆದಾಗ ನಾನೇ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಒಪ್ಕೋತೀವಲ್ಲ, so that actually requires a courage. So this is a very important thing here. So sometimes in the project work or in the company work, so there will be some bad results. In that case, because of your mistake, if it happens, in that case you should show the courage that I have done that mistake, and also you should be able to correct it. So not only accepting it, you should correct that mistake. That is why it is taken as a courage to accept the mistake. Okay, and this will ensure your success in your efforts in the future life. Being sensitive to full range of moral values and responsibilities and willingness to upgrade their skill. So ನೀವು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಸೆನ್ಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು? So when you are working in an engineering field, you should respond to the co-workers immediately, and also you should respond to the customers immediately. That is called as a sensitive. Okay, and also that is your responsibility. Social responsibility ಅಥವಾ professional responsibility ಅಂತ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. So this is your responsibility. You should be well responsive. That is taken as a sensitive here. And willingness to upgrade their skills. So ನಿಮ್ಮ skills ಏನಿದಾವಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ ಇನ್ನೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಅಪ್ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. Put efforts and reach the best balance possible among those consideration. So ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಎಫರ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕಿ ನಾವು ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಂತ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದು. Next, being responsible and answerable for meeting specific obligations, that is liable to justify the decisions, actions and outcomes when required by the stakeholders or by the law. So sometimes what happens, when you are assigned with a job, when you are assigned with a work, in that case you will be asked some questions on that. So you are responsible for the answering that. So this answering is made by you only because you are assigned for that work. So in this you are accountable for that. So sometimes you may be getting a good results or bad results. So whatever it is, so you should be able to justify your answer. That is taken here as a accountability. Okay. So here when required by the stakeholders, and the stakeholders already now cultivate stakeholders, it is not only employees of a company, it includes investors, it includes what, government and other suppliers, okay, mediators. Okay, so these all will come under the stakeholder. So whenever they ask some questions, in that case you should be able to answer for that. So you are liable means ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅದು, because you have assigned that work. So you are accountable for that work. So that is why it is taken as a accountability. Okay, I think the meaning is clear for you. Now let us study in detail what is corporate accountability. Corporate ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ, ಒಂದು organization. Corporate accountability here, it refers to a publicly traded company's performance in non-financial areas such as social responsibility and sustainability. So you can see that accountability is not only making the profit. It is not only concentrating on the profit. It is not maintaining the account of profit. What it is beyond that. Beyond that means it has the performance in non-financial areas. Non-financial areas are the that we have learned social responsibility, to have a good service for the society. That is also a responsibility of the corporate. So this comes under the accountability also. Okay, corporate accountability holds that beyond making a profit for its shareholders, ಬರೀ shareholders ಗೆ ಬರೀ profit ಕೊಡೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ, a company must also be accountable to its employees and community members. So community ಒಳಗೆ ಯಾರು ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಸ್, ಸಪ್ಲೈಯರ್ಸ್, ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ಸೊ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೂ ಅವರು ಅಕೌಂಟೇಬಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಅವರು. Is that clear? The concepts of corporate accountability are important for those concerned with ethical investing. So ethical invest yaar madirtarala, so company ನಂಬಿಕೊಂಡು ಯಾರು ಅವರು ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂತಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ಸ್, ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಸ್, ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರ. ಸೊ ಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡೋದು, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದಿ corporation. So that responsibility is here, it is taken as a corporate responsibility, and who takes that responsibility on their own shoulder, so that is here considered as a corporate accountability. If anything goes wrong, then that should be taken, who is answerable for that, so that person, that is taken here as a corporate accountability. Okay, I think it is clear for you. See here, the difference between corporate responsibility and corporate accountability. So in the examination it is also asked, define corporate responsibility and corporate accountability. So let us define it and also see the difference between corporate responsibility and corporate accountability. See here, first we have studied what is responsibility. What is corporate responsibility? Let us look here. It emphasizes the voluntary acceptance of a particular organization to particular codes of conduct. So what this means, emphasizes means andre it ಒತ್ತಿ ಹೇಳೋದು, ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಯಾವುದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಿರೋದು, it stresses on voluntary acceptance of a particular organization to a particular code of conduct. ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕೋಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ತೋಡ್ರಿ ಅಥವಾ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ವೇರ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ತೋಡ್ರಿ, ಸೊ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ದೇರ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಕೋಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟ್. That is, they will be having certain rules and regulations. Each profession is having its own code of conduct. So this responsibility tells or stresses on what is the code of conduct that should be followed for each organization. Okay, then the groups of individuals in the organizations are assigned responsibilities through policy manuals and flow charts. So you can see that, so in the organization, so every employee, whether they are from the top management or from the bottom management, so everyone is assigned a work, and the policies, rules and regulations are told well before joining to the job only. They will be telling what are the code of conduct policies, so they have to follow this. So this is also one of the responsibility of the employees working in the organization. So this whole is called as a corporate responsibility. Okay, next, corporate accountability means what? Here it means holding all the corporate organizations accountable to the public, employees, customers and stakeholders, and empowered by rules and laws. Suppose if anything goes wrong in the company, then the corporate is made accountable to whom? Public or employees or customers, stakeholders. So for these the corporate is made accountable. So accountable is what? Who should answer for that? Anything goes wrong in the public, in that case the corporate is made accountable for answering for whom? To the public, employees, customers and stakeholders. So this actually tells the difference between corporate responsibility and corporate accountability. I think the definition and difference is clear for you. Okay, today we have studied on the professional responsibility. In that the different virtues, classification of virtues, and also with the help of example we have studied the types of virtues related to professional responsibility. Then we studied social responsibility. Then we studied what is accountability and difference between corporate accountability and corporate responsibility. With the help of examples we have seen. So I think it is very clear to you, dear students. So let us stop here. We'll see you in the next class. Okay, thank you.